We have senatorial candidate Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai.
Oh, we have been practicing
And
now
we
for a
have,
couple
and
weeks here.
He has been nice enough and honored us with a breaking story. He's not doing any other radio until he does this show, and we want to thank him for that. And we actually hit on this last time he was here. He's running against Pocahontas and the senator from, what? It's D. Foxwoods, right? Or Mohegan.
That's right.
Whatever she, they have that next to the name.
Yeah, the Fagawi tribe.
Yeah, roger that. And Dr. Shiva, welcome, and tell us all this big news.
Well, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate
it. When I was here last time, I think I shared with you, we have the slogan, only a real Indian can defeat the fake Indian.
Of course.
And, that slogan has so many layers to it. It really resonates among pretty much everyone in Massachusetts and everyone across this country.
Well, explain why you can.
Well, the reason I use the slogan is, look, not only was I born in India, a real Indian, but I also took the DNA test, and I actually have a certain amount of Native American genes in me.
Wow.
So you have two Indians in one.
I don't think you
Very
told us
small.
that. Did you tell us that last
Well,
time?
I
Yes.
remember I sent Elizabeth Warren a DNA test kit. I was the guy who pioneered sending her DNA test kits. I sent her 3 DNA test kits. She refused to take them. I gave her, ample chance to verify her ancestry.
Of course,
But because this is radio, they can't tell.
I was just about because Shiva, our audience is growing, leaps and bounds and tremendously here.
Bounds and leaps.
Can you tell the folks, for example, that might be listening in Texas and to Cape Cod, tell us a little bit about yourself again? I know we did this a couple weeks ago, but radio is all about repetition. Tell us a little bit before we get to the big announcement.
Yeah, so my name is Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. Now, I was brought up in India. I grew up there in a city called Bombay and also in a small village. So I grew up, in India. Emigrated here in 1970 as a legal immigrant. My parents were very fortunate to come here. India has a caste system. So the fact that we were actually able to leave that caste system, where it's very an unfortunate system. It's a function of where you're born, not what you do.
Isn't that something?
So my mom used to say, in India you can get discriminated 9 different ways, in America 3, but at least in America you have a chance to work hard and prove yourself.
Sure.
Roger that, Mom.
So we came here in 1970. I went through the public school systems in Jersey. Grew up playing baseball. Had
that's
my own
how
lawn-mowing business.
eating
everyday
gravy.
American kid.
That's how you knew it
Eating
was gravy, as opposed
awesome
to That's
Italian
why we
food.
let him back in here,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly.
went to Reno's, by the way. So
Wasn't it
Oh,
great?
Yeah, it was awesome food.
I never trust a skinny chef,
the
my
amount
friend.
of the amount of pasta and meatballs. I mean, I can't believe I ate the whole thing. But anyway, I grew up in Jersey as a Jersey boy.
Yeah.
When I was 14, I was not only good baseball player and athlete, but I also learned how to program computers. And at the age of 14, I invented the first email system in the world.
You heard that correct, folks.
And we're not talking about Al Gore. We're talking about an actual guy who actually knows how to do stuff and actually created in Newark, New Jersey. This wasn't done at MIT. It wasn't done in the military-industrial complex. It wasn't done in Silicon Valley. Email was done by an American kid in Newark, New Jersey.
Where the Sopranos are from.
Where the Sopranos are
Right
from.
here.
Yeah.
I saw a crazy thing that India said 3,000 years ago they invented the internet. Did you see that article?
I haven't seen that. Indians claim they invented everything. Indians and Greeks, they invented everything. And Italians.
No offense, though. I think that they must have. They also invented ajita from all that curry.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No offense,
Well,
that curry is a little weird on that ghee.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah.
Well, I'll make you some good stuff.
Roger.
I'm sure you will.
All right. So last time you were in, you mentioned that you had this slogan, and I texted you that, and I appreciate the heads up on what's going on, that I really was surprised because I thought you were a nut when I saw that sign on the bus that said, only a real Indian can win. And Chris goes, see that guy? We're going to get that guy on. And I
You
go,
had
okay,
massive
all right.
signage down at the St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Right.
And
And then-
It was a
Cambridge.
great sign. In fact, the establishment politicians were trying to stop our bus from going in. The guy who was running the parade said, I believe in free speech. He had actually fought the city of Boston on free speech, and he said these guys paid. They paid months ago. They're allowed in. We went in, and we were the hit of the town. I mean, millions of people, you can see it in the video, loved us.
Oh, wait a minute. You were the second hit of the town.
You guys were the number one.
Well, there you go. I mean, come on
now.
now. You got to
Well,
ego stroke me
Yeah.
here. I know.
It's true. You guys were number one.
It's a tough room, huh?
Yeah, so everyone loved that slogan.
Okay.
What's unfortunate was that the power of that slogan is very deep, because it's not just only brings up the fact that Elizabeth Warren lied, that she shoplifted identity, but it brings up integrity. And it also brings up sort of the big fakeness of all of these politicians. We get people who love the sign, and they don't even know why, right? Because it's like a great hit song,
It's
right?
a hook.
It's like a haiku, right? A poetry. It just hits.
Super
And
hook.
I think this is going to go down in political history as one of the great political slogans because it goes down very deep at the hypocrisy of all these politicians. Now, we've had that slogan up. It's now this is where it gets interesting. I own a building in Cambridge. Cambridge is a center of liberalism. Everyone claims they support
Bike
free
lanes
speech.
everywhere.
It's like
Bike
Mecca.
lanes everywhere.
Mecca of
We believe in
liberalism.
inclusiveness. We support everything. I have a building. Building has a big parking lot. Back in March of 2017, a bunch of students, bunch of citizens literally took an old bus, refurbished it, repainted it, and red, white, and blue. And we put the sign initially in March of 2017 called Shiva for Senate, Be the Light. Okay? No one said anything.
No one said nothing.
Nothing. 2 months later, June of 2017, we changed the sign to Shiva, Fight for America, U.S. Senate. No one said anything. That sign stayed on there all the way until March of this year, the day before the St. Patrick's
That's the
Parade.
sign I saw.
That's the
Yes,
sign you saw.
sir.
So the
Okay.
night before, we've been noticing everyone loves the slogan. So we said, hey, let's put the slogan up. Picture of me and picture of Pocahontas next together. Only the real Indian can defeat the fake Indian. And we took it into the parade, and you guys saw the reaction.
Oh,
People loved it. You guys,
Everybody
that's why
loved
I'm
it.
here.
I loved
People
it,
were
yeah.
cheering and doing,
Yeah, so parked back the bus on April 4th. We get a letter from the city of Cambridge saying, if you do not remove that slogan, we're going to start fining you $300 a day. Now, you see, the city of Cambridge is quite sleazy. They put these things in, and 90% of the time people just walk away, meaning they take down the signs because they're afraid. And the other time when people don't do it, they start fining you and they send you a big bill. So since
Either way, you don't care.
I don't care.
Exactly. It's a principle.
It's a principle, and we're going to put this sign everywhere. So I think I mentioned this last time. So we consulted with our attorneys, our very good attorneys, and they said, look, you got to sue them because what they're going to do is they're going to hit you up with a bill, and they'll rack it up, and then you're going to be running, right? You're going to be on the defensive end. So the big news is on Sunday morning, yesterday, we filed a federal lawsuit.
Which you can do at 24/7, by the way.
24/7, which is awesome
All
now because of online.
electronic,
We
yeah.
filed it.
I've done it. Go ahead.
Sunday at 7:30 against the city of Cambridge in federal court, violating two things: the United States Constitution for First Amendment and the Massachusetts Constitution.
Wow.
So it's a very important thing. This is not, look, our campaign is, we're not going to wait to fight. We've been fighting every step of the way.
Right.
We've had to fight to make sure, we get treated right. And here we're fighting not only for us, but for the citizens of this country, which cannot be succumbed by the so-called elites in Cambridge who think they're going to stop us from a very powerful slogan which says only the real Indian can defeat the fake Indian. By the way, the reason we say that, because I'm a real American, and we got to understand in America right now, it's not only Native Americans, it's poor whites, poor blacks, poor Hispanics. We're all on reservations, frankly. If you actually look at the reality of the fact that the massive income inequality that has been caused by the elites, you look at in Cambridge, right? They claim all this innovation takes place in the Kendall Square area. Well, with a 2-mile radius, you have the massive amount of segregation. The average net worth of a black person is $8, and I'm sure a poor white person isn't that far behind. So that's what these guys have done. And
I'm
that's
worth 14.
Well,
What's that?
I'm worth 14.
Yeah.
And what it is, Doctor, is that the Democratic policies have worked to do nothing, but we can look right down in Baltimore, have done nothing but to keep those people down, too. You know what I mean?
To keep them down, and what the liberals do and the establishment is they bring up idiotic issues to talk about racism and et cetera, right? So, we have people, very few people, vocal minority will start yelling at me, calling me a racist and a white supremacist for putting that up. And my point to them is, wait a minute, Elizabeth Warren is a big racist. She's the one who used, even though it was a Band-Aid solution of affirmative action, it was a gain of the civil rights movement. She uses that to take advantage of to get a $400,000 job, and never points out the elitism of Harvard University, which is a $40 billion hedge fund.
Incredible.
So this is a hypocrisy that slogan brings up, and it needs to be defended.
And what about her? A lot of people do not know this because she put her brother in the front, is that when there was this big crash 10 years ago or 12 years ago with the real estate market, when the bubble bursted, and what was his name? Dodd-Frank. That bill there that let everybody have, I think.
The subprime loans all that.
She was scooping up all the houses and
she
made millions of dollars.
At least one story I understand, she threw a widow out.
Really?
So the level of hypocrisy is what our campaign addresses.
Right.
And the fact is that we're not going to wait to fight. I've always fought. I've always been an activist. And our campaign is going to reflect that.
Okay.
So that's what I wanted to share with you.
Wait 1 minute. We're gonna stay another segment.
You can
this.
stick around, right?
Sure.
All right, great.
617-691-2590. Once again, 617-691-2590. A gentleman, Dr. Shiva
Ayyadurai. We're going to put a big sign.
Ayyadurai is here.
It's Italian.
He is interviewing to be a United States Senator. And even if you're against his lawsuit, come on in. The water's warm. It's the Answer Boston with Ligotti and Palermo. We've invited Senator Warren here.
Yeah. And I'm working on Beth Lindstrom. We want to get her in.
I would say at least we've been on the air almost 8 weeks now. Okay, right, almost 12 now.
She'll never come in.
We invited her no less than 30 times. Directly. I mean, we've emailed.
And we'll do it again right now. Senator Warren, you're welcome to come down.
I can take the
here.
bus there and deliver it to an invitation if you want.
I want to quickly, I forgot to ask you this last time. What is your status now? Are you gathering signatures to get on the ballot?
Yes, we're gathering signatures. We need 10,000 signatures, certified signatures. Obviously, we gather a lot more.
You can tell us how we can do that after the news here.
Sure.
All right, great. Thank you. Quickly, Shiva, can you recap? You made a big announcement here, and for those just tuning in, tell us what's happening. Shiva Ayyadurai is running and hopefully looking to unseat Elizabeth Warren. You are the real Indian. She is the fake Indian. Tell us here again what's going on with your big announcement.
Right, so this is Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. I'm running for U.S. Senate, as people know, as an independent candidate against the fake Indian Elizabeth Warren. People know that we've been really resonating with everyone across Massachusetts with the slogan, only the real Indian can defeat the fake Indian. And it's not just about the identity politics, it's about integrity. And we filed a federal lawsuit 24 hours ago, which we're sharing with you guys on the first radio station.
Thank you very much.
Against the city of Cambridge. Cambridge, by the way, attests that it's all about inclusivity, diversity of opinion, et cetera.
Like Hollywood.
Like Hollywood. like academia. Academia. And we have an amazing bus which was built by citizens in Massachusetts, refurbished and repainted.
Awesome.
On that bus, we've had various messages. About a month ago, we changed the message to only a real Indian can defeat the fake Indian, and suddenly we get notice from the city of Cambridge saying if we don't remove that, we're going to be fined. And obviously, the sleazy way that the city works is they hope that people just get scared and run away, and if you don't do anything, they accrue the fines and they hit you with a big, fine. So our attorney said you got to sue them. And so that's what we've done. We filed in federal court. But this is not just about, getting money out of them. That's not what this is about. It's in federal court. But it's really about protecting the First Amendment. They're violating not only the United States Constitution, but they're also violating the Massachusetts Constitution. And so our campaign is really about, every step we started from day one, we're fighting the establishment. We're the independent guys. We're the underdogs, be it against Elizabeth Warren or the establishment of even the GOP machinery. That our campaign is really about fighting for people, the real Americans. That's what our campaign's about.
Like it. And again, he was here last time, and this building, which you pay an enormous amount of
$70,000 in property taxes every. Even if I didn't even rent it, I pay $70,000 in property taxes every year.
70 grand.
It's a lot of money.
And that's even more money than the property taxes in New Hampshire.
Well,
so Cambridge charges a lot of money in property taxes to get all this.
This parking lot, as you've explained to us and showed us in a picture, it's not like you're blocking emergency access. It's not like the bus doesn't belong there. Actually, the bus is very small compared to the parking lot.
The parking lot can fit 85 parking spaces. We occupy maybe 6 of it.
See?
And it's been there since March 2017. Now we've changed the messages. One time the message was Shiva for Senate, be the light. Then 2 months later we changed it to Shiva for Senate, fight for America. That lasted. There are no issues.
Somebody thought of this.
Yeah, and then it changed, last month to, Shiva for Senate. Only the real Indian can defeat the fake Indian.
Stick with it.
Yeah, that's when it became an issue. That's why it's a violation of the First Amendment.
Absolutely.
It's a political message that people do not like. That's what it's really about.
Well, we get about 5 or 6 minutes here, Shiva. I want to get to some benchmarks, or some policy of what you intend to do. Hopefully you get elected here. And I want to start with you being from India. Yesterday was Earth Day. Now, I'm kind of torn on that. I understand we have to have some regulations here, and we joked, well, I don't really joke about all the bike lanes. But is it getting out of control? Me personally, I understand maybe, for example, solar power may work in Arizona, but when they start mandating emissions, and as you can see now, Trump is rolling back a lot of these Obama-era policies because, it has stifled business. How would you, and of course we know where Elizabeth Warren would be, and you being all familiar with Cambridge, one of the policies here, what would you do with the environment for Massachusetts here?
Look, when you look at any of these big issues, right, the problem with politicians are opportunists. They don't really understand how any of these complex systems work, so they just throw essentially bones to citizens to appease them.
Looks great on paper.
It looks great on paper. It looks great. So they don't address the issues. You see, the environment is a very complex system. You're talking to a systems biologist. I study this. Elizabeth Warren has no degrees, as I know, in any type of advanced science. She's never really studied systems theory. She's a lawyer lobbyist. That's what she is. Mm-hmm. So, but when you really look at this as an engineer or even a plumber or electrician, you understand complex systems. When I look at the environment, the number one issue we need to understand with the environment is we need a clean food supply. Number one, right?
Interesting.
And
right.
Who wants pollution, right? No one's.
Right.
But the issue is, how do you get there? Well, you don't get there by supporting Monsanto, which is a company that creates all the poisonous herbicides, created genetically engineered foods. Elizabeth Warren voted for the Monsanto Protection Act. What that means is you and I can never really sue Monsanto. So if we want to solve the environment, 80% of Americans want clean food. They want organic food. The prices are too high because organizations like Amazon and Whole Foods have monopolized it. They've created industrialized organic food. Solution? Local farmers. We need to get everyday people involved in local farming again. The average age of a farmer is 61 years old. Industrialized farms, which basically produce garbage food. So we need to get back to local farming. This is not a left or right issue. This is a human issue. The second issue is we want to lower pollution. Well, how do you lower pollution? So on the one hand, people may consider me a lefty going after Monsanto, but I also don't believe in the Paris Accords. Completely bogus. I mean, I did a whole video on it. People want to go look at it. I supported the president on this because the Paris Accords have nothing to do with lowering pollution. They, in fact, allow China to pollute another 11 billion carbon tons, right? And what they do is then China will get charged a carbon tax, and guess who makes out on it? Al Gore, Goldman Sachs, and the guys who created the carbon credit equity model. That's who gets it. So see, what politicians do is they basically manipulate. They're fake, right? They don't understand the issues. If we want to lower pollution, innovation. That's how you lower pollution. You unleash innovation. There's a MIT student I met. He said, when we transport oil cargo from point A to point B, on the way back, he said we could put refineries in there to clean up the plastic in the oceans. That's innovation. That's where it's going to come from entrepreneurs, not from top-down politics. Elizabeth Warren, none of these politicians know, frankly, very few of them know science or engineering, right?
Absolutely.
It's going to come from people like us who actually know the problem, and it's going to happen by unleashing innovation, not through carbon credits, by essentially making Al Gore and Goldman Sachs trillionaires.
Do you think Ed Markey knows this whole process that you just mentioned?
No, these guys need, they need consultants. They need people telling them what to do, and most of these consultants are paid off and owned by lobbyists and firms. So they never care about the American people. This is why the founders of this country actually were smart guys. They were geniuses. They were blacksmiths, engineers. They worked with their hands. They could actually, they know the solutions. Right. They don't need 20 billion advisors. But that's what these politicians need, telling them which way the wind blows, which way they're going to get votes. They don't want to solve problems. They don't want to do the right thing. You got a president now who wants to do the right thing, which is great. We've never had that. I'm not saying you should like him because of him, but he led a movement which was anti-establishment. And that's what our movement in Massachusetts is about. It's about really solving problems. What better than an MIT guy?
That'd be terrific.
Tell everybody, your own words, how they can get a hold of you, and how they can join, how they can learn more?
Sure. Our website is Shiva4Senate.com, Shiva4Senate.com. You can go to the website. You can go to my Twitter at VA_Shiva. I tweet all day, so you can go there. If you want to support us, obviously you can give us money, but money really doesn't really engage people. Volunteers is what we need. So if you guys want to volunteer, anyone who volunteers gets a bumper sticker, a great T-shirt that's coming out which says "Only a real Indian can defeat the fake Indian."
Can you get it in 3X, 4X for us?
We have it in 3X, 4X. We'll make you guys special next time.
I'll take two and show them together.
And come out and help us. We're out every day doing something. We need to get 10,000 signatures to get on the ballot. But our campaign is a historic campaign because we want to bust up both of the machineries who do not serve people. They really serve their own self-interest. And we need people who actually, have skills.
And something that we didn't mention that you mentioned last time, folks, this gentleman came here as a legal immigrant with his parents, with his family, happened to just be thirsting for knowledge, learned some things, tried some things. The zero game with this gentleman, if you ever read up on him, he does not need any money. He does not need to do this. He's doing this as a passionate thing. And to me...
Well, Joe, the biggest thing is I love this country.
That's what I'm saying.
When I grew up in New Jersey, those are my people, my school teachers who worked their buns off, holding 3 jobs, everyday people. That's where I come from. And that's why I'm in this, because we need to have good people serving this country.
Give it back, baby.
Give it back. That's what it's about.
Pay it forward.
Thank you, Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai.
Thank you.
We'll have you in again, no doubt about that. Thanks for breaking the news on The Answer with Ligotti and Palermo.
Thank you for everything.